I know people might think, well, oh, that's going to take away from productivity. But guess what? People are not productive when they don't have the opportunity to share how they're feeling. I think it's going to have a massive impact that we probably have underestimated. Generally, we look forward to the Christmas break as a time to have what I call a brain break, top up our fuel tank and revitalise ourselves and have a break away from work. I guess what's happened in this period is that people perhaps haven't done some of those things that they would normally do to have a break. So, people have been involved in the in volunteering, or they have been, watching a lot of the stories, and so they haven't then maybe done some of the things that we know revitalise us, like walks in nature. I mean, obviously we wouldn't be walking through the bush in some of these fire-affected areas. So some of the things that people would have done to rejuvenate themselves, they perhaps haven't done to the same extent. And so they're also then coming back to work with those emotions of sadness and grief. And I think we need to be really mindful of how do we support people when they come back to the workplace, because some people have been directly impacted, but I think the impact it goes beyond the people that have been just directly impacted. It is impacting everyone. And, to just expect people to come to work and put on a happy face, I think that's not going to work. We really need to be actually providing people with the opportunity to check in with them and see how they're going. Are you okay? And did you have anyone that was directly impacted? So really giving people the opportunity to talk about it. And I know people might think, well, oh, that's going to take away from productivity. But guess what? People are not productive when they don't have the opportunity to share how they're feeling. And when they're trying to suppress those feelings, we're unproductive. So I guess my message and as you know, I work a lot in the leadership space, is leaders, think about what is your strategy to support your people when they're coming back to work. How are you going to ensure that you're checking in with them? And if you're noticing signs of distress, what are your strategies for supporting those people? And one of the really interesting things is that we all like to give advice. In fact, we're biologically programmed to give advice. And so we tend to want to give advice for the things that would work for us if we're in that situation. And my message to leaders would be, if you see people are distressed, is to ask them, how can I support you? What is the best way to support you? Because for some people, if you're a hugger, you'll want to go up and give that person a big hug. Now, not everyone likes that big hug, but they might like you to make them a cup of coffee, or if they're feeling really overwhelmed, to say, hey, is there some work I could help you with? So I guess my message to people is, think about, we've extended our support and our love to the people that are devastated by this. Make sure you don't just do that outside of the workplace. We need to be doing that in the workplace as well. And ensure that you listen to people. If people are feeling upset, let them talk and listen. Don't interrupt, and don't try and offer your suggestions or advice about what you think might work for them. Just listen. And if necessary, you may want to also look at referring people to areas for support. And there are a number of services where you can refer people to if you think that they're experiencing high levels of distress.